What is up, winning team? Hello and welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. Happy to have you, happy for you to be here. Welcome to the best team in existence, of course, the winning team. And today we're continuing in our book series in chapter 12, Beyond the Veil, exploring the bubble theory and the fourth dimension. We're in part B or part 2 of chapter 12 because your girl had a lot to say in the chapter 12 part 8. Honestly, I really think I cooked in that video. So you might want to really go and check that out. You know where you can find that? In the description box below, alongside inside the playlist that has all the videos from the whole series, including an intro video. If you want to know why we were doing this, I should really watch that video back because I didn't expect to be here, but I'm so happy to be here and I'm having so much fun. Guys, this is the most fun. Can I tell you? I talk about a lot of things on YouTube and I do a lot of things in my life. This, honestly, is one of the most funnest things ever. Science, I love the science. I've said to people before, I wish I could do science as a hobby. I wish I could do the creative things as a job and the science stuff as a hobby. But anyways, I digress. Let's get back into it. So we're in chapter 12. Like I said, Beyond the Veil, A Beginner's Journey into Higher Dimensions and Modern Physics, written by Jamil Chamberlain. So you can find the book in the description to purchase as well. And you can also find an extra link that he sent me, basically with even more scientific information for those of you who really want to delve deeper, for those of you who want to turn up okay, let's just move on, shall we? So we are not that far into chapter 12. Was I really talking this much? Actually, no, we are. So we're now on, it's on page 80 if you're following along with. We just started talking about implications of quantum connections in the bubble theory. And if you want to know what that is, you're going to need to catch up, do your homework. We started to talk at the end of the last video about the potential for faster than light communication, which is an interesting concept, as I said before. That we have a lot of reliance on light itself, the speed of light, especially because it's one of the I don't want to call it a construct because society's like ruined that word now, but it's one of those like limitations I feel of the third dimension. That's my personal theory. Influence on quantum computing and information is where we continue today. Quantum computing leverages entanglement to perform complex computations more effectively than classical computers. The bubble theory's insights into high dimensional interactions could lead to advancements in quantum information processing, enhancing the capabilities and stability of quantum computers by harnessing high dimensional resources. So this is just another thing. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'll just say it once so that you guys don't have to hear it a billion times. But this is, again, there's a lot of reasons why a lot of science isn't done, and it's not always because the science isn't true. If there's anything I could say, just because it's not been proven right doesn't mean that it's wrong. That's something I want to say. Just because something hasn't been proven right doesn't mean that it's wrong. So that's one of those phrases that really bothers me that people say, especially quote unquote, anyone that calls himself a scientist, right? If you're really truly a humble scientist and you're a true logical critical thinker, you must always acknowledge that just because, as I said, something hasn't been proven doesn't mean it's not true. A lot of scientists will say, do you have any peer-reviewed articles to prove what you're saying? Do you have any scientific journals, any articles that are any scientific research? It's a good question, as in we should back up all of our claims with actual evidence, hence why some of us get obsessed. So there is evidence for the world to have, to understand. But at the same time, just because it hasn't been proven doesn't mean it's not real, because somebody has to have paid the money, taken the time. And as I said, I did my own very much amateur level computational calculations for my own research. It was completely computational, quantum mechanics, quantum chemistry, computational based project. I had to run all my own calculations. And so I truly do understand the limitations of this stuff when it comes to budgeting and all of that type of thing. And even for my own research, I could have got way more interesting results. I could have probably learned a lot more had I had better equipment. The equipment that I did have, I was only able, which is still actually quite impressive, I personally feel, to create values that were in agreement with other scientists' values, if that makes sense, and to push towards the same direction. So I just want to add that in for any budding scientists or people who think about science who are not maybe involved in the industry. We have to actually always acknowledge that. So now we're moving on to the mathematical framework simplified. Entanglement entropy. Oh, you guys know that entropy is like my, I talk about is the law of entropy. But anyway, entanglement entropy in high dimensions. Entanglement entropy measures the degree of entanglement between subsystems. Okay. In the bubble theory, this concept extends into high dimensions, allowing for a more nuanced calculation into, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get into some of these equations. A more nuanced calculation that accounts for interactions beyond the three familiar spatial axes. This extension provides a mathematical foundation for understanding how high dimensional dynamics influence quantum states. I will say, as a scientist, I do wish he'd include some of the equations in the work, because I've told you guys I really am a equations girly, whether it's maths, whether it's science. I really don't prefer words. But this is obviously a beginner's journey into high dimensions and modern physics, and I know a lot of people run for the hills as soon as they see an equation. Okay. Got it. S energy field and quantum states. The S energy field governs the interactions between bubbles in a high dimensional space. Quantum states within a bubble are influenced by the field's dynamics, providing a mechanism for entanglement that transcends traditional three-dimensional constraints. This relationship is encapsulated in extended field equations, that describe how the S energy propagates and interacts with quantum particles. You know what? I'm going to make a note, because this is going to be one of the pages I need to remember to go back for the equations for. Where's my pen? Bear with, guys. I'm not going to make an annotation as to... I need a key. I need to make like a key. I really could have... Okay, hold on. Also, scientists, let us normalize adding extra pages for notes in these types of books, I just like to say. Because, like, I mean, there's actually quite a lot of free space, but, like, I'm going to, like, annotate inside the book. Anyway, I already have been. Anyway, let's continue. So, probability and amplitudes and dimensional influence. Probability amplitudes, fundamental to quantum mechanics, describe the likelihood of a particle state. Ooh. The bubble theory modifies these amplitudes by incorporating high-dimensional factors, offering a more detailed prediction of entangled states and their behaviors. This modification enhances our understanding of quantum phenomena by embedding them with a high-dimensional framework. I love this. And you know what? This has made my own personal research become so much more interesting, because there's so many things I never considered. Now that I'm reading this, challenges in future research. Empirical validation of quantum connections. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to hear about my scientific paper, I actually did a whole video telling you guys all about it. It's on my channel. So yeah, you can actually hear all about it. I brought the paper with me and everything, so you guys can hear about exactly what it is if you want to know. While the bubble theory offers a compelling framework, empirical validation remains a significant challenge. Detecting indirect evidence of high-dimensional interactions influencing quantum entanglement requires sophisticated experimental setups and precise data analysis. Future research must focus on designing experiments that can identify subtle signatures predicted by the theory, such as specific patterns in entanglement, entropy, or anomalies in quantum state behaviors. So we've kind of touched on that already. Integrating with existing quantum theories. Ensuring compatibility between the bubble theory and established quantum theories requires meticulous mathematical refinement and theoretical exploration. This integration is essential for the theory's acceptance within the scientific community and for bridging the gaps between disparate areas of physics. So this is kind of similar to what I kind of started to talk a little bit about in my previous video. How Einstein, that was why his theory of relativity came to being, because you had Isaac's law of motion and then James Clerk Maxwell. Why do I never remember this guy's name? Laws of electromagnetism, and those two laws were accepted to both make sense, but they didn't quite make sense together just yet. So again, just because you can prove the reasoning for why you can say one statement or why you can prove how your thing works, it also everything all has to work together. This is why I say science, much as life, is a group project, and hence why we're called the winning team here. Because at the winning team, you are I always feel like I'm in an advert for this channel whenever I start saying at the winning team. Where are we? Okay, technological innovations. I'm cutting myself off because I don't want to yap too much, you guys, okay? I like yapping though, because I feel like I be dropping gems without realizing that when I'm yapping. This is the thing. And I've actually been told that. Technological innovations for higher dimensional probing. Advancements in technology such as higher dimensional particle detectors and quantum entanglement measurement devices are necessary to explore the implications of the bubble theory. Investing in these technologies will facilitate deeper insights into quantum connections and validate the theory's predictions. Interdisciplinary collaboration. Here we go again. Bridging the gap between quantum physics and higher dimensional theories necessitates collaboration across multiple disciplines. So I've told you guys this already. We've already talked about this in a number of videos. Where is my pen? Because you know I'm about to add "and chemists" into this book right here. Bridging the gap between quantum physics and higher dimensional theories necessitates collaboration across multiple disciplines. Physicists, mathematicians, computer scientists, and chemists. How are you going to leave us out? Okay. Must work together to develop comprehensive models and experimental frameworks that can test the bubble theory's predictions. Conclusion: quantum entanglement remains one of the most fascinating and mysterious aspects of quantum mechanics. The bubble theory provides a novel perspective by introducing higher dimensional interactions as the underlying mechanism for entanglement. This is so good. Okay, it's really starting to sink in now. Right. Underlying mechanism for entanglement and non-locality. By reconciling the probabilistic nature of quantum mechanics with the deterministic framework of high dimensional physics, the bubble theory offers a unified approach that could pave the way for groundbreaking advancements in our understanding of the universe, while significant challenges remain in validating and integrating this theory. The potential rewards in terms of scientific discovery and technological innovation are immense. So quantum entanglement. Now, that's what we've been talking about essentially, and which goes back to, gives us more of, I guess, the meat of the framework of what we've been talking about previously about these interactions between bubbles. We've got some entanglement taking place. And I just find that so fascinating because according to this theory as well, we don't know, we are unaware of what is happening in these other universes, perhaps, these other bubbles, right? And yet all of these universes are we're all affecting each other through these quantum entanglements, through these things that are happening in what science is calling a dimension, others might call a realm, some might call a potentially spiritual one that is unseen. And herein, ladies and gentlemen, is another reason why I am proposing the concept that indeed maybe the spiritual world can actually be explained with science. That's my life's dream, by the way, guys. That is my life's dream, and that is my life's dream. Because I feel like sometimes when you're trying to understand something, I'm going to actually explain this in scientific types of terms, right? Sometimes when you're trying to explain something, if you haven't considered all the different areas, you might have been missing a big piece of the puzzle. And as a scientist, and particularly as a woman in science, right? I've met a lot of scientists. I've obviously studied alongside scientists and all sorts of things. One of the things that I noticed is that a lot of people have decided to shut off one concept altogether. And because they've shut off one concept altogether, that disables them from being able to actually answer the very questions that they're looking for the answer for, right? So it could be, for example, I'll give you guys a really, I'll give you like a really simple example, right? Say you wanted to dissolve some sugar in water, right? And you dissolve sugar in water. You have 3 different glasses of water, and one of them you got 10 degrees water, one of them you got 100 degrees water, one of them you got 200 degrees, right? Water. Don't recommend. But anyway, this is all for the sake of the conversation we're having here, right? So let's say you want to look at the solubility of sugars, things that affect the solubility of sugar in water, right? This is how you're going to realize I'm a chemist, right? If you decide for yourself that I'm not going to consider that heat could be affecting it, because how could heat affect it? For whatever reason that it doesn't make sense to you. Like, surely heat doesn't make any difference, yada, yada, yada. Of course, we all know that it does. Obviously, heat increases the kinetic energy, yada, yada, yada. It's, the basics, right? That's what I mean when I'm saying about this whole concept of people cutting out the concept that science and the spiritual thing can also bridge the gap for each other in a lot of ways. Because if you've already decided, and other just science in general, if you've already decided that a particular concept or theory, there's no way those things connect, then you are also stopping yourself from actually addressing all the potential variables, which is what we're supposed to do as scientists. Hence why, like I said to you, I find it fascinating that the scientists who are kind of willing to understand a lot of the things we're talking about are the ones who go on to write these theories for science fiction, which, as Jamil said in the book, and I've said on this channel for years, science fiction technically doesn't make sense as far as science and fiction are supposed to be two opposites. Maybe the issue isn't that they're two opposites. Maybe the issue is considering the fiction part as fictional in the first place, and maybe that's the variable we haven't been considering altogether. So I'm just saying, and this is one of those things where I feel like I don't believe a man would ever come to that conclusion because of, again, the differences in things and why everything is a collaboration and interdisciplinary collaboration. You see what I'm saying here? So just food for thought and things to think about, But like I said, as a scientist, this is the most important thing if you take away anything. As a critical thinker in life, the only times you limit yourself really is when you decide to pick and choose what variables make sense. Just like I mentioned in the sugar example, you could be sitting there noticing clearly how the sugar dissolves more quickly in each of the 3 different glasses of water. And because you've decided that it can't be heat, cannot be a factor, you've thrown it far behind you, you're seeing an increase in solubility as you increase the temperature, but you can't explain why, and you feel like it's an invisible thing that's affecting it. And technically it is, because the invisible thing is the heat. You can't see the heat, but you can feel it, much like we're talking about these quantum entanglements and the experiences that we have on Earth, not just on Earth, but in our whole cosmos, in our whole universe. And if the idea and concept is that it's to do with things happening in the 4th dimension and potential interactions between other bubbles at a higher dimension that we cannot see because we're limited by sight and time in particular, I'm just saying there's a lot to think about here. Anyways, you guys, if life's a game, let's play to win. Like I said, if you want to hear the rest of this series, check out the playlist in the description box below. There's an introduction video and videos through all the different parts of this entire book so far, and we will do all the way through to the end, of which we're not far off right now. We've got 2 chapters literally left. We're on page 86. There's only 100 total pages, and that's including further reading and resources. It's crazy. And if you want to buy the book, links in the description. Purchase it on Amazon, super cheap, definitely worth it. I'm annotating things in here because this is the beginning of my next journey. And also, if you want to know more from an actual physicist about all of this, the author did send me a link, which I've put in the description box below, where you can go and see the more nitty-gritty sciences of it all, which is where I'll be going in the hopes of finding me some equations to partner with so much of this lovely, interesting information that we have learned today. But other than that, on that note, you guys, if life's a game, let's play to win. Thanks for being here. If you like the vibe and you want to join the tribe, hit that subscribe, because if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.